Bishop, centred on the attic flat where Hendrix lived in 1968. More from our arts correspondent, Vincent Dowd.
I'll get him high, show him what I got. I'll get him high, show him what I got. He'll be my
Another one. Headlights.
Sudan. To get a sense of why this is happening now, we spoke to NPR's West Africa correspondent, Febia Quist-Arcton, who shared her feelings. Some women who were divorced and cut off from their family.
The thing about insects is because they have an exoskeleton, there's a huge amount of surface area to volume ratio, and so you get a huge amount of caramelization on the outside of it, on the legs and on the bits, and so you pop them in and you transcend your own sense of disgust. You reach a place where you dignify them so much more. You dignify
each of us showing the other that we're credible, we won't be intimidated.
Rather than its creators of MATLAB and Simulink technical. Learn more at mathworks.com.
angry protest to non-stop guitar.
Considered to be the mother of all condiments, is simply, salted, fermented fish. provides the carbohydrates that can ferment into acids that can preserve the fish. Salami is fermented pork. So I mean, there's lots of different styles, and you know, they're not necessarily particularly edgy or anything. And you know, people eat them all the time without thinking about it. But they are products of fermentation that involve, you know, fish and.
Now from Berkeley, Roman Mars. But they say, hey Roman, are you there?
I am.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Fine. Does the Mars clan originate out there on the West Coast or elsewhere?
We kind of moved around a lot. I think I guess.
Actually, you do make it because you do. Yours is extremely well produced, and we've never done that here. I have a producer, but it's just window dressing. He's dressing in the window right now. You can see him. Tell us about 99% Invisible. What the idea of
pharmaceutical concentrated animal feeding operations like CAFOs. Chris and I categorically reject any and all CAFOs, chemical fertilization, aquifer irrigation, and genetic modification.
Really? Jerk.
At this point, nobody in law enforcement or, you know, attorney generals or the FTC, none of them have intervened with this. It could arguably be considered fraud, and it certainly violates the rules and regulations of the social media firms, so if people are caught buying clicks for any purpose, their accounts can be shut down. But as I said, there are companies, at least one that you write about, springing up, that can help clients get rid of the fake ones they may have purchased. Why are people deciding now, well, I did this, I boosted my following, but I want to get rid of them? They don't want to be outed, for example, as having bought them, because that can be embarrassing and that can decrease their value. There's also something called click bombing, where somebody will buy a bunch of clicks for somebody else's account and then try to embarrass them by having them be fakes. And so there's firms now that simply audit other people's accounts for them. Click bombing. Yes, it's a new way of attacking maybe a competitor. Exactly. Or let's say there's two people running for a particular political office. You could perhaps buy a whole bunch of clicks for somebody and then out them as having bought followers. Oh wow. And as Mark and those at the Associated Press, I should take a deep look at click farms. But Mark, while we have you, we've been reading a lot of your terrific stories, and another that you wrote, we referenced this week, was about Rockville, California. That was at least a jump-off point. In which 82% of the residents are immigrants or descendants of immigrants. 1 in 5 only speak Spanish. And you wrote about a concern, you cited social scientists at the
town was becoming racially isolated. Now, we spoke to a resident who didn't feel that, but also heard from listeners who objected to the phrase. You know, one pointed out Latinos, Hispanics.
Well, I mean, that's a tough question, and you know, and especially if Google starts becoming an internet provider and a more
International.
Hi, I'm Marvin Alney. On the next To The Point, despite videotape, including threats of violence and cries for help, a California jury has acquitted 2 police officers of killing an unarmed, homeless man who suffered from schizophrenia. Is there a lesson about public understanding of the mentally ill? Is law enforcement replacing the treatment of disease? Next time on To The Point from Public Radio International.
That criminalize homosexuality.
Michelle Fall is Chief Africa Correspondent with the Associated Press. Nominees. It's on the short list for Best Documentary. But executives at SeaWorld say it is flawed. Blackfish examines the death of trainer Don Brancho at SeaWorld Orlando in 2010. It raises questions about the theme park's treatment of its killer whale.
How are you then? Pretty good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're just back from Amsterdam?
Yeah, New York.
Oh my God, could you go any
It was
slower?
warm in Amsterdam.
It was sunny and beautiful.
They don't have polar vortexes.
Well, we didn't realize it.
Of Nigeria's 36 states. I've spoken with human rights activists here who say this has not just happened since the bill was signed into law, but since...
Michelle Fall is Chief Africa Correspondent with the Associated Press. She joined us from Lagos, Nigeria. Michelle, thanks so much.
It's a pleasure, Melissa. Thank you.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
It's 19 minutes past 5 o'clock. Traffic is slowed on southbound I-35 from I-40 down to 59th Street, and on westbound I-40 from Shield to the junction with I-44. Look for partly cloudy skies tonight and a low in the mid-30s. There is a fire weather watch in effect until tomorrow afternoon. This is KGOU, your NPR source.